And today I just want to cover some of the digital tools that you can use in order to showcase your products or connect with your customers and thus realize more sales. A little bit about myself. So I worked for one of the largest bespoke upholstery furniture manufacturer in London. And I've spent the last 10 years in actually more like 12 years in furniture. My skill set includes, I'm actually an R&D developer, researcher and development manager for the company. And I have done a lot of designs as well as CAD modeling and framework development. In terms of website and e-commerce, this is something as well that I have helped quite a few companies launch their websites and online stores, and have built the branding of others, especially the one that I work with at the moment. So there have been a heavy lift on creating marketing materials, sample boxes, catalogs, and other tools to elevate the brand online and offline. One other specialty that I have is creating 3D renderings of products on either white background or detailed interiors for the architects and interior design community. So in terms of virtual showroom options at the moment during the lockdown and how you can actually connect with your customers, it's the tools are out there, and you just need to find the right one for you, and you can deploy some of them very quickly. The easiest one that a lot of companies are using at the moment is FaceTime, which they're hiding under very interesting names. Some are calling it virtual showroom assistant, some are calling it room view, or using other terms. But basically, what they do and how they use it. I have here a few examples of websites just to show you exactly how they do it. FCI, probably you have seen the website, but basically you register your interest, which is a good way to capture clients' interest in their email and contact information. And using FaceTime, you can call the customer. They can show the room that they're working on, or the place that they want to renovate, or the place where they need furniture. And then after you decide which models are best for their space, you can call back and walk them and show them some examples from your showroom. So just I'm not able to see any chats. So if there's any questions, Denise will collect them and I can answer them at the end. But it's a very easy tool to install. You just need a few images on the website just to show that you're providing the service, and then you need a box to collect the information and contacts from the customers. As you can see here, so FCI are calling it as an interior advice through video chat. Some of the companies are calling it room view, but the idea is the same. And you just make sure that you display it on the homepage next to your COVID-19 message, so that they know that you're still operating. They can still visit the showroom in a virtual way. There's another option which is slightly more. I think it costs a little bit more. It was very popular a while ago, which is a Google Virtual Tour, which is the same software that is used on Google Street View. Maybe some of you are familiar, but there are a lot of professionals that are certified by Google. They have the right equipment, and by using the software, they're just visiting your showroom, and they can create a walkthrough experience, which is basically a 360 view, and using the same software as Street View, but inside the showroom. It's the the good thing about it is that it can be accessed directly from Google Maps. So, for example, this is a company which is located in an industrial estate, which is not on the high street. So people do not go there very often. And as you're walking on the road, if you see the storefront of the company, you can just directly enter there. And also, as you can see here, some of the images, some of the 360 images are displayed as part of the company's profile. So you can click on any of them and you end up inside the showroom as well. And it's a good way to get quick visibility to customers if you're not on the high street, especially. And as you can see, I think they're currently implementing as well some of the some points where you can receive more information on certain products like prices or sizes or dimensions, and then you can have a point of contact as well. But yeah, this is a very small shop in Acton, West London, and they're using the Google tool to display their items and showcase quickly the customer what they have on display. And as you can see, you're coming from that's the estate. You're coming from outside, and you can just go straight into the showroom, which is quite handy. So the benefit is, as I said, you invite the customer virtually, and they can find you on Google, and they can see straight away the showroom. And nowadays, the goal is to build trust in the customer, that you're a real shop. So this gives them some of that. In terms of other tools, I mean, the iPhone and the smartphone, we're very happy to have those devices, and also all the online tools like YouTube, where we can quickly capture all sorts of videos and images with iPhone and directly upload them on different platforms. So the third option is using an iPhone panoramic view and already built-in technology of Facebook, where you can just upload a panoramic picture from your iPhone directly to your Facebook profile of the company, and then Facebook is turning it into 360 drag and view environment. On YouTube, there are plenty full of videos of showing you how you can do that, and it's all you need is basically your phone, and then the user can rotate the phone, and then they can see different areas. If they're on a desktop, then they can easily drag and rotate the view. But it's something that you can do after work, before work, or even I've been thinking that some of our kids are more familiar with these techniques, and they can set up 360 view for us in their spare time as a small task. You know that they like playing around with technologies, and this is one interesting project for them, which I'm sure they'll execute very well. Google Street View app as well has another option where you can create 360 panoramic views, and they get stitched together. And the app is actually showing you it's very user friendly. It's just showing orange dot, basically where you need to move the camera and take another picture. And at the end, the app is stitching all the images together, and this can then be uploaded directly to Google Maps to your online store or physical store or factory. So you just Google the address, and you can specify, please upload this image to my profile. And then again, it will be visible on the site once people click on your address, and they see your working hours. And on the left-hand side, they can see this beautiful 360 image where they can drag if they're on the desktop and rotate, or they can they can just move their phone around to see what's out there. But this can be done either inside or outside of the facility, which means that using free tools and Google or Facebook, you can recreate the Google virtual tour without any expenses. A fourth option, which is a bit more expensive, is to create actually 3D model of interiors or exteriors, and then you can create virtual reality. So basically, on this image, everything is modeled in 3D, and it is part of a design for a customer. It's something that could be done, and I'm sure you have heard of virtual reality, but this is a direct application. So you can create the whole house for a customer or a certain space, or create a virtual showroom where you can display more products than you actually have manufactured. You can have your whole range, and then you can design the room sets, and this can be showcased on your website, and the link can be shared with your customers. It's a bit more expensive because the usually costs are per point. So if you have another point in the other room, it's additional cost because it requires modeling of the entire space. Some companies charge as much as £600-800 per point. So you can imagine for a larger house, it could be quite expensive. But it's an option, and then actually this can be used with VR headsets. So client can actually get inside, and he can rotate and see the environment around him. A final option is there are companies out there that actually recreate expo centers, and brands can book their own space and host large events inside these platforms, but they're more tailored for bigger events. So if you, for example, you want to have a training of representatives all around the world, you can have your own space inside these environments, and your employees or representatives can log in, and then you can do specific trainings on certain products, or you can do specific launches of new products. It's just more on a larger scale platform. So I'm not sure if it's applicable to most of the companies today, but just to have an idea that, say, for example, 100% design, or even events like Milan Furniture Fair, they're doing something similar online, but for different industries, for the medical industry, for the companies, and you can probably find one that is tailored for furniture, and then if you want, you can set up your own booth there. Another tool that I've been familiar with is, again, you can use the effect is similar, just having a 360 camera where you can take the pictures yourself, and then there are online softwares which are free, where you can upload all the 360 panorama pictures, and then it will recreate the whole environment. So basically, with a little bit of coding, you can plug it yourself on your website, I guess. The idea is that there are tools out there. You just need to find the right tool for you and decide whether you want to put some more of your time to do it perfectly, or you're happy with off-the-shelf tools that can quickly reach the customer. But the idea is that you bring the customer to your space. It doesn't matter where they are, and it can be applied even after the lockdown, because it's I mean, if you're in Ireland and you want to sell furniture to London customers, you can do that online nowadays. And if there's a certain space that you want to recommend furniture for. You can basically rearrange the furniture in the showroom and then make a nice quick 360 and just share it with the customer. And this can be, again, done only with your iPhone or Android. One other tool that I want to touch base on is YouTube, because I'm not sure how many of you have YouTube channels, but it's very useful. So I've been using YouTube channel to put clients' concerns at ease. In some cases, clients were unsure of a certain finish of, say, for example, sofas. We have sofas with with different fabrics, and sometimes the two sofas can have very similar fabric. And the client, looking at the items online, is basically debating which color or which fabric is more suitable for their house and for their applications. What I have done is, again, with my smartphone, I just take a 1-minute video and compare the two fabrics, and you can actually touch the fabric just to show if it's a velvet or not. And you can do the same thing for sheen levels of, say, for example, wooden furniture. And then you can you upload the image to your YouTube channel, and with a very simply, you can share the link of the video in a text message, and then the customer can get a really good understanding of the finish of the product. I've done this, and usually what we have done in the past is basically we ask the client to book a visit to the showroom. On a certain day, we pull out the furniture from the warehouse. The client comes to the showroom, then they look at the two items, and then after that they can decide whether they want to proceed with one or the other. But usually this takes 3, 4, 5 days. And in the meantime, customers can also find other alternatives and even not show up for the appointment to see the furniture. But taking a quick video, communicating constantly with the customer, just puts them at ease. So once I send the link, I call them straight away. And in 100% of the cases, they are able to make a decision whether to proceed with the one that they already have in their basket or change it to another item. So it's very important. I mean, there's a lot of tools, as you all know, the social networks, and nowadays they're great tools to build trust in the customer, because the goal is to, I mean, I don't like marketing, but what marketing is basically telling the world what you do, and social media is great for that. You just need to tell your story. And there's a very interesting chap I found online. So they have started. He's in the building industry, but he has spent his whole entire career fixing issues of builders. And as he goes and fixes different bathrooms, he rips off the walls and he explains all the errors that the previous builder has done. For example, here the shower head is not attached to any studs, and it's like freestanding, and it was leaking behind, and it created a lot of moss. I mean, it's different in the furniture industry, but you can still start a channel where you can basically explain the processes or just do free tutorials, or even record your daily progress, like what work you have done today or the next day, and this way you can just create a large number of followers who are interested in your channel. As you can see, they have like 70,000 followers just by recording any issues that they have. Of course, it takes a little bit of effort because you need to learn to edit the videos, but you can outsource this to a third-party company. The benefit is building a trust again in the customer. And actually, if you watch this video, there's a link in the description. After seeing 5 minutes of the video, you are 100% sure that this person will do the right job for renovating a bathroom. So the video is very powerful in terms of giving building that trust in the in the company. So it's something that should be utilized as much as you can, and all the groundwork is done by big companies like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. So all you need to do is use your smart gadgets and be a one-man band even, and still be able to create content which before was requiring a lot of people to get um, that kind of content. Nowadays, one person can do a lot by utilizing different tools around him. So the other thing is e-commerce. As you know, during COVID, a lot of people are struggling with visits to the showroom, and e-commerce has been performing really well. I have been watching the stock share of Wayfair, the largest online marketplace for furniture, started in America, now it's here as well. If you have seen the website, probably you're familiar. But the stock went down quite drastically, probably collapsed. And then after a few days, it just went 10 times as much because people started buying online. Actually, in America, they saw increase in online sales during the lockdown, even for furniture. So it's very important to have a e-commerce platform. I saw from the survey in the beginning that some of you already have, wondering where you have hosted it. But there are very affordable tools nowadays. Shopify is one, Wix is another one, and you don't have to spend much. The tools are out there. You can build it very quickly, or you can, again, task your kids to do it very quickly. And if you don't want to be bothered, because there's still some time required to do that, you can always find a partner of these companies who will build and set up the website for you. I mean, I can do it as well, and then hand over and train you how to actually maintain the websites afterwards yourself. It's not difficult, and then you can change home pages as many times as you want and as quickly and as whenever it's necessary. There's also other platforms. So this is e-commerce built on Shopify, but there's yeah, all the features are drag and drop, so you don't need any coding. I mean, it's interesting because I still see a lot of companies in the furniture industry that do not have good websites or are afraid of making one. And even though the tools are there, it's still this barrier of I haven't done it. It's stopping some of the companies. But nowadays it's as easy as never before. So I encourage everyone to play around and start selling online. Alternatively, you can use platforms like Etsy, which is basically similar to Amazon, but for custom-made one-off items. It was initially targeted for artists. Probably some of you are familiar, but you don't need any experience here. You just upload your pictures and upload your products, do your shop front, and set up price. So the platform is identical for everyone, and it's very user-friendly. And as you can see, people are selling, let me just see here. People are selling all sorts of one-offs or repeat items on Etsy. And there's a lot of timber products as well. And recently, if you're familiar, Facebook actually opened up e-commerce just a couple of weeks, last week. They opened up e-commerce option for small and medium enterprises, so that it will be much easier to sell directly on Facebook with extra tools and extra support from Facebook. And I think they're also giving some grants at the moment for small businesses just to help them kickstart their e-commerce activity on the platform. The other thing is that I want to cover is just talk a little bit about 3D renderings and CGIs. I've done a lot of those for different manufacturers, and there are the great benefits in using it. nowadays more and more, because you can show different configurations. You can show many products and many models, some that you have done in the past or some that you have you are planning to do. It is much more cost efficient than producing it and taking professional photography. And then it can be used across multiple platforms on your website or in catalogs, other materials. But basically, I mean, I've done for a few companies where the entire company wanted to look as if they have been in the furniture industry for quite a long time. So we created the entire website using CGI images. It's a good example here. So Bonham and Bonham, everything that you see on their website is basically 3D rendering, and you have different views of the item. We spend a lot of time on making sure that the materials are correct. But to give you an example of costs, one item to model and render in this kind of environment is around 80, 90 to 100 pounds, which includes the modeling, the rendering, 3-4 views. Of course, we did 160 items for this company, so that helped bring the budget down. But it's, again, much more cost efficient compared to producing each and every single item individually. And the other benefit is that you can afterwards very easily change the color, and you can showcase different colors of these items. So for example, if it's blue, we can make it easily yellow or green, which will be at a very, very low cost once we have the model and the rendering. Then this is it's another company that I have helped, the manufacturers of metal fittings. But again, everything that you see here is not the actual product. This is all renderings, and they're great visuals because you can see all the different materials and textures on the item, and it actually brings life to, in this instance, very boring product. It's a metal fittings, like tube fittings, but makes it look really, I use the word sexy, but I'm not sure if it's the correct one here. And then one other thing that is very important is to capture every installation that you do, like all the installations and products that you have manufactured. You need to either book a professional photographer or do it yourself, invest in a good camera, but basically don't miss any opportunity of work that you have done that has gone to the customer and just stays there without you recording the effort that you put into it. Because this is, you can create YouTube channel off of a couple of projects where you can talk about different details and how you approached and what were the challenges. And nowadays it's all about content and creation, and the content helps customers build trust in their brand. This is another example of CGI, which is just a 360 view, showcases the product, but it can be placed on the website where you can drag left and right, and you can see the product in any from any angle. Then there's some examples of clients, interior design clients and CGIs, kitchens or complete environments done for manufacturers and interior designers. And as you can see, those could be a little bit more expensive depending on the level. Say, for example, in a room like this, everything is specified. Actually, we work with the interior designer to select every single bit and piece, even the paint on the alcove area and the ceiling, the way the timber flooring is arranged. Every single bit and pieces has been specified. Even the bookcases, they had proper dimensions. They had the metal trims already they knew where they would source them from. So the image is more than 100% accurate than what the final outcome will be. And image like this costs around 800, 900 to £1,000, but is used later on as a 100% guideline for the builders and everyone in the team to make sure that the end result is exactly what it should be. And then you can do a lot of iterations here, because you can change the colors of the bookcases, and play around with absolutely everything before you decide whether things work together. So yeah, a bit more recap of the costs, just to give you an idea how much such service is. And this is in the presentation, so you can have it. But simple 3D rendering could be as low as £30, depending on how many items, how complex the model is. And you can go to detailed interiors, which are all the way up to 800 plus. But there's also this option, quick space planning. So if you're working with a customer and you're not sure, you want to show them some visuals, you can do that very quickly, and there'll be a little bit of materials applied to it. And the customer just more keen to place an order afterwards, especially good for kitchens and built-in wardrobes. So in terms of my services under Boyan Design, I can assist with any of the above from the presentation. I'm keen on setting up websites for companies at the moment. That's what I like doing the most, but also creating 3D renderings if somebody needs. Of course, a lot of the work that I do is a free consultation, and I'm happy to help any of you if you have any questions regarding any of the above from today. Then one of the questions that I wanted to find and get answer from you today was, what is the one single thing that you need help on? Because I know that there's tools out there, but people and companies have different struggles. So it'll be interesting to understand what is the most important thing for your business at the moment.
And just on that, we have that question on Mentimeter. So for those of you who came late, I'll share in a second the screen once Boyan finishes with this slide, so you can see, you can log in. For those of you who are already in Mentimeter, maybe you can answer the question there and we can start seeing some answers. Go ahead, Boyan.
Yeah, and then I was just brainstorming whether the organization, the Irish Wooden Furniture Manufacturing Network, would benefit from potentially having a website that helps everyone sell on that platform, or find a way to utilize Etsy or some other platforms, just to have their own store where everyone can load, and maybe there's one admin person who can help them do that. And the other thing is, just want to see if there's anything unclear on the presentation, you want to have more information, you can let me know. I can answer some questions. And of course, I encourage you to have your own e-commerce website. It's as easy as never before to launch one today. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. That was really useful and so practical, I think, for all of us who have businesses. We had a couple of questions come in, so I'll just start putting them to you. And if you unshare your screen, I'll share the Mentimeter in the meantime. So we had a question from Fergal, and I think a similar question from Smriti. So they both wanted to know what sort of software do you use for the 3D renders, for the interior renders?
Yes, the 3D renderings, they're done, most of them are in 3D Studio Max, and then we use V-Ray as a render engine. If you want to do like more complicated and virtual reality, then you use Unreal, which is another software, Unreal, or Cinema 4D, which is also used for animating games. So yeah. Otherwise, actually, modeling framework, SolidWorks is the best CAD program for modeling frames and furniture. But there are other specialized for the wardrobe and the kitchen industry as well.
Great, thanks for that answer. And then we had another question as well. So I think Ivy wanted to know, her business is a little different. As you know, we have opened this to more than just the wooden furniture manufacturing members. So she was saying she wants to build a store for virtual online tours for tourism. What would be a good platform or preferred platform you might suggest for her to use for something like that, if any?
Well, it's a bit tricky because, and I'm sure that there are a lot of companies that are exploring the idea, but it's I would say you need to clearly have a concept and how you want to approach it, and then research the market to see what's out there, because I'm sure there are custom softwares and companies that are building custom softwares. And probably you need to, I mean, I assume that it will be a very bespoke software solution. So you utilize some of the tools that I mentioned, like Unreal and Cinema 4D, but it will require extra software development to make the whole platform work. I'm not sure exactly what the idea is, but I would certainly approach it as a bigger project and pitch for funding.
Thanks for that, Boyan. And then I think Bill from the Wooden Furniture Manufacturing Network was asking for a list potentially of softwares to send out with the presentation. I know you listed quite a few at the start anyway, but if there's any ones you mentioned.
Yeah, I can include them in the presentation, the last slide.
That'd be great. Any other questions from anyone? If you have questions, you can just put them in the chat, or if you don't all do it at once, you can, dare I say, unmute yourself and ask a question verbally. I know in terms of your question, Boyan, to in particular to members of the Furniture Manufacturing Network about having a shared site. I mean, they have their own meeting at 1 p.m. today, so maybe it's something Bill can put to the group there. No more questions? Oh, sorry, I must have missed one. Thank you. So Trisha asked, which software is best for 360-degree spins?
So for 360-degree spins, I mean, if you want to do it for free, use your iPhone. You can take panorama pictures, and with a few online tools, you can create it yourself. Otherwise, you need a specialized camera, which can do 360 view, which was the guy that I showed, putting it on a tripod, and then he's hiding, and then the camera is just doing its 360. But we're moving more towards using our handheld devices because they're becoming more capable of doing all this.
And is that they just clarified a bit there? I know you can't see the chat, so it's difficult for you. They're asking instead of panorama, but actually to rotate furniture 3D. Is there software for that?
There's one company, Cilindo, which is quite. I mean, they're using their own software, but usually it will require a little bit of development if you want to implement it yourself. So from your but it's not too difficult, because the way Furniture 360 works is you create a certain number of renderings. Say for example, 36 renderings, which is the item, showing the item from every angle, and then with a little bit of coding, you can make this smoothly to be dragged left or right.
Thanks.
And I'm sure there are modules at the moment. I cannot think of anything at the moment off the top of my head.
Maybe we can send that out with the notes as well. And there's another question then from Trevor, who is saying augmented reality or 3D, which is better?
Augmented reality is still very expensive. I mean, augmented reality where you can take your phone and just look at your room through the phone, and then you can place items inside. I mean, there are companies that invest in it, but there's still the big ones, like and the likes. Virtual reality is more limited. I mean, they're used for different purposes. So, I mean, augmented reality will become more and more popular because you will instantly merge reality with imagination, and then you can see a blend between the two, and you can see your finished room. But I think it's still it needs more advancement in order to be accessible for everyone.
And I think we have another question in from Smriti. You're being thanked, by the way, for all your answers. I know you can't see and hear anyone, but they are thanking you. So Smriti said, is there any specialized rendering software for kitchens?
So for kitchens, the best I have used is, again, 3D Studio Max and V-Ray, because it's giving you really good photorealism. There's another software, but I haven't seen it used much in the furniture industry, which is used for car design renderings. But it's more expensive, and I haven't seen many people using it. If I dig the name, I can include it in the last slide as well.
Thanks. And just giving an extra minute if there's any other questions anyone wants to add.
So I actually want to ask, maybe, because a lot of people are interested in this 360 spin. Is this something that you want to include in your e-commerce platform, or is it just out of pure curiosity?
Do you want to type your answer in the chat or join the group?
You want to include it in? Yeah, I can see Derek. Yes. Well,
so a lot of yeses there so far.
Okay. So what benefit do you think it will bring to your customers seeing it in 360? Because if you do 360, that means that you need to actually model the item as well. There's other tools that you can use. I mean, if you have the products in your showroom, there are very advanced photo booth boxes, and even photo book stands that can actually take a picture, or actually rotational platforms. You probably have seen those in the car exhibitions where they put the car and the car spins 360 very slowly. But you can use those to create this 360 experience with the actual product, if you have the actual product. The benefit of using 360 through 3D renderings and modeling is if you don't have the item. But I can certainly help and elaborate a bit more on that and help you find the right tools to implement it on your website. So depending on what you're using, I mean, in my company, we have been using Magento too as a web platform, which allows you to do many things, but it requires a developer next to you. Whereas with Shopify and Wix, for example, you can have things off the shelf. But I haven't looked too much into Wix and Shopify, but I believe that I know a few tools that I'm certain that work for Shopify and Wix as well. Which platforms, by the way, is everyone using for e-commerce? The people that answered yes to that question.
Using Shopify from one person.
Shopify.
In answer to your earlier question, Mary's just added as well. They're looking at using the 3D renders as a sales tool to reduce the need to meet. So they would send a pack of renders and add a VR link.
So there's a tool that's called PIM, which is Product Information Management, which can host and hold information of all your product visuals and data. I don't think there's a 3D PIM yet as a PIM option, but there's one company that actually holds 3D models, and then you can share. It's managing the 3D model database, because it's the question is quite good actually, because a lot of the interior designers, when they're just making their decisions, they download 3D models, they plug them into their interiors, create the rendering. And it's a very strong selling point, because once the customer sees the furniture inside a beautiful rendering, he's more willing to purchase that item rather than changing it for alternative ones.
And we had a couple more answers to your initial question about what platforms people were using. So we had Shopify initially. Someone else said Wax was thinking of getting a new site with Shopify or Wix, I think WordPress or Wix. And someone else saying, thinking about Shopify, but the add-on Shopify apps look very expensive.
So I'm not sure how much it costs, but I can definitely research and give you some more insights. And to be honest, I can help you with basic CGIs and a little bit of code. We can implement it for you if that's your goal. Because surely companies who are doing it on a massive scale, they actually it's quite new, but I mean we have done it for a few companies, with simple coding and images, and I think if you're interested, we can elaborate and see how we can help.
Great, thanks. And Colleen's just pointed out Shopify are offering a 90-day free trial at the moment. And I think having used Wix before as well, I think if you sign up for Wix for a year rather than monthly, you can get like a 50% discount as well.
Yes, and if you have the logo of Wix, I'm not sure if it works for e-commerce websites or not, but if you have the logo of Wix on top of the page, it's free, so you can try it before you can commit to it.
Yeah, you can set up without it connected to your domain name. You can just set up a sample one and play around before you buy. And then Mary has asked about Articad.
I haven't used Articad. I have used AutoCAD a little bit, but the software that I prefer is SolidWorks and then 3D Studio Max. I'm not sure what she's using Articad for. There are a lot of specialized softwares for kitchens and wardrobes, but I'm not sure what Articad is used for. No, I haven't, Mary.
There we go. We're all learning something new. So we're about 5 minutes from the end of the time. I know a lot of you probably have additional questions about the software. So Boyan has promised to share a list of software. And we're getting other questions as well about experience or opinion on Palette CAD. I don't know if that's something you've used, Boyan.
Sorry, which one? Auto?
Palette CAD? No?
No.
That's fine. And someone else is talking about Unity 3D. So there are a lot of specific comments on specific types of software. But I guess, is there any sort of overarching guidance you could give people when they're thinking of choosing a software?
Well, the thing, it depends on what you want to use it for. And it's good to, I mean, of course, it's not something that you can learn. You need to find somebody to do it for you. But the modules, I mean, I guess 360 on your website is really strong selling point, and it's not that expensive, even if you outsource the whole work to someone. As I said, we have done 155 images at cost £80 per image, which is modeling, applying the texture, and creating a number of images for the 360. Actually, the company at the end didn't create this drag left and right because they decided it to be a little bit too much at the time, and they wanted to just showcase the item with 6 to 8 images. So you can still see them, but it's more clear. It was back a while, so but I think nowadays it's more of a people want to drag and even change the colors. So updating the color is a little bit more tricky, but still there are modules that can be done. I'll be interested to find out what Shopify plugin I think Tricia was using, just to see what can be done as an alternative.
Yes, Tricia, you'd mentioned the add-on Shopify apps looking expensive. She looked at Product Builder, she said.
Product Builder, yeah, I can check and maybe I can get back to her if I can find ways to get her contacts.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
We can anyone who wants to be, like Boyan's email address is on the presentation. So anyone who wants to reach out to Boyan directly, you'll have his email address. You should be able to follow up if needed. Tricia was saying it was 30 euro a month, I think, for the Product Builder. Okay, well, we're almost at time. We've recorded the webinar. I know some of you joined us quite late and might have missed parts of it. So we have recorded it, and hopefully that works, and we'll make it available on the website. And on the Chamber of Commerce website, the Irish Wooden Furniture Manufacturing Network, I'm sure we'll put it up as well, and we'll put it on our own website, share around as well by email, the presentation. And it might be maybe next week or so when we share it, if we're waiting. I think Boyan's going to put together this list of software, so we'll have to wait for that to put it all together and share out. Any last thoughts? Yeah, sort of similar, more information on PIM, Boyan's thoughts on Patricia's question too about Product Builder. I think he's promised to go look at that and come back to everyone.
Yeah. But PIM, just to give you a general overview, PIM is basically if you want to sell in multiple channels, you want to sell on Amazon, you want to sell on eBay, you want to sell on Etsy, you want to sell on your website, you want to sell on different platforms, even Facebook potentially, as they're opening up now. You can you can use this platform so that you can upload your, you can basically hold your product data and then link it to the different channels so that you only manage one store database, which then synchronizes the database across all the other sales channels. That's the main idea of PIM software. But you can Google it and you can find more information and videos.
Thanks, Boyan. Well, thanks so much for your time today and for sharing all that information. I think it was great to see it all laid out so clearly, all the different options ranging from free to very expensive for those who have the big budgets. So we'll share around the information, and thanks to you all for joining today. Thanks to the Irish Wooden Furniture Manufacturing Network and the Galway Chamber of Commerce for help making this happen.
Yeah, I want to say thank you as well. I hope it hasn't been something that, I mean, I hope you learned something new, even though some of the things are probably very familiar, you're very familiar with. And to be honest, I'm more than happy to help with anything that you need. And we decide if there's any opportunity to basically purchase any of the services later on. So yeah, thank you.